My 28M grandfather's inheritance is causing problems with my half-sister, 23F. My half-sister is my mother's daughter. She was born to my mother's current husband, but my father always treated her well like she was family, and so did my grandfather. But there was an obvious favoritism for me because I was both their biological relatives while she didn't have any connection other than being my half-sister. My grandfather recently passed away and his estate was divided between his children and grandchildren. I got a nice $500K in inheritance. For some reason my half-sister was expecting some inheritance and she's been really devastated. She asked me why and I told her that he was my grandfather. You were just a relative connected somehow with no biological ties. She got really upset with that and told me family is more than blood. I then told her, do you think I'd get anything from your dad's grandparents? They have nothing, but that's besides the point, and she was like, no. Good, I thought we settled it and could move on. A few days later she asked my father about the inheritance. Mind you, he was mourning still. He still answered and then she asked him if he would give her an inheritance. I was really pissed because she looked like a gold digger and my father was still mourning. I told her straight up to stop acting like a gold digger. She ran away crying and I do feel a little bad. My mom called me and explained to me that since they weren't as financially well off as my dad, she was insecure and was hoping maybe that my grandfather would give her some money to help with her college loans. Now I feel bad because I added salt to her wounds and I don't know what to do. Too long did not read. My sister is unhappy that she didn't get any inheritance. That wasn't her grandfather. Just because someone is nice to you, doesn't mean you're family. Your mom needs to talk to her daughter because she comes across as a gold-digging, obnoxious, bratty child. She admitted you wouldn't expect money from her father's grandparents, so she understands the concept. Going to your father, while he's mourning, to ask if she'll get some of his money when he dies, is disgusting. And your mom is enabling her fucked up behavior. Only thing your mom should be doing, once your father is farther in his grieving process, is apologize for her self-absorbed daughter who would do something so callous as to go to someone who is grieving their parent and ask, "Hey, when you die, do I get money?" Any wounds are self-inflicted and you have no obligation or responsibility, morally or otherwise, to do anything. She hit your grieving father up for guilt money. That's inappropriate in so many ways. I can understand her feelings, but her actions are inexcusable. You aren't obligated to give her anything. Your grandfather wasn't and your father isn't. Approaching your father the way she did was highly inappropriate and she was indeed gold digging. Don't let this make you feel bad. Do, however, avoid discussing or flaunting the inheritance you rightfully received. Also, now might be a good time to talk to your mom and stepfather about purchasing a modest life insurance policy with her as the beneficiary. It might help her feel more secure knowing it's there in the future. This should have been over when she said you wouldn't get anything from her grandfather. She knows she has no business asking for any inheritance. She comes across as a golddigger. Your mom needs to make it clear that a person not related to you by blood, adoption or marriage has no legal obligation to leave you anything. Her asking your dad for an inheritance actually hurt whatever chances she had of him leaving her anything in his will out of the kindness of his heart for being your one-half sibling. Your half-sister is in the wrong here. It was your grandpa money and it was his choice. Now it is your money and it is your choice. If you want to give her a small part of your own inheritance because you want to help her, because you feel empathy for her situation, then do it. If you don't want to because it was your grandpa and you will not receive anything from her grandpa, then don't do it. But she should stop asking about the money. She isn't entitled to any of it. She should have waited until your dad was in a better place. Asking for money during mourning is a cold-hearted ask. My 29F husband, 30M, acts emotionless after the birth of our child, 0F. My husband and I have been together for 7 years, married for 4. He is an amazing husband and would do anything for me. We've had very few issues in our relationship. Regarding having children, I was indifferent, but my husband didn't want any. He said having children might hold him back from doing things in life, which is understandable and I respect that. And I am perfectly happy with that because we get to spend a lot of time together doing things we want to do that would otherwise be more difficult with children. Anyway, I became pregnant. It was an accident, but it happened. We immediately decided adoption was not an option. At first, I could tell my husband was uncomfortable with it. But as my due date became closer, my husband started getting excited and played a very active role in getting everything our baby would need. He took care of me and made me as comfortable as possible during my pregnancy. Of course, he was there for our daughter's birth and seemed very happy. Then, once we brought her home, he quickly deteriorated. He just seems emotionless now. He doesn't really smile anymore or seem happy. He does play an active role in taking care of our daughter, but normally I have to ask him to help me, which he always does without question. I guess you could say he doesn't normally take the initiative to do anything himself. But, my husband never complains or tells me no, and he has always helped me anytime I need help. But he's just emotionless, maybe even sad now. I'm pretty sure I caught him crying one time when he was alone, but he denied it. I've tried giving my husband free days, where I will take care of everything and he can do whatever he wants. He doesn't go anywhere or does anything. My husband loves playing video games, so I suggested he take the day to play video games all day, but he doesn't even want to do that. I don't know what to do anymore. It's been about 5 weeks since our daughter was born. It's like the life has been sucked out of him. I've tried talking to him about it, and he says everything is fine. He is still a good husband and I love him very much, and I know he still loves me. But I don't know what to do now. Could this be postpartum depression? Should I suggest we go to therapy? What should I do? I just want my old husband back. Too long did not read. My husband has become emotionless after the birth of our daughter, and I'm not sure what to do. Sounds like he has tried to be excited and happy but is really struggling now. You may have to accept that he may even leave you if he really can't come to terms with having a child. It's not something you grow into if you don't want them. Becoming a parent is a huge adjustment whether you wanted to be one or not, and 5 weeks is nothing. Give him time and space to process how he feels about his new lifestyle and stop trying to manage it for him. He's an adult. He needs to work through this, not be saved from it. I don't know what you can do, but, at the same time, I don't know what you expected either. Get into couples therapy and drag the messy truth out earlier rather than later. He needs counseling. He does sound depressed, but a counselor would be the one to help determine that. It is a big change. I remember when I first held my oldest daughter thinking, well, I have a big responsibility now. But I was also excited and happy. Still, it is a big and new responsibility, especially for someone who did not want children. See if you can get him to counseling. That's what you get when your child-free partner becomes a parent. You knew he didn't want one. So, can you please explain to us why adoption was not an option? Because that doesn't make sense. I cannot imagine why he agreed to that. My husband started getting excited and played a very active role. Well, he loves you. He was probably biting back his disappointment for your benefit, and trying to make the best of your decision to keep it. And everything he's done since then is only out of a sense of duty. I just want my old husband back. Oh, he's gone for good, and his life as a happy man is over now. He'll just be a dad bot and an ATM from now on, driven only by a sense of duty. Joyless and without hope. Unless you give up his unwanted child for adoption, then he'll bounce right back. It's not too late to give it up. He's going through a crisis. It happens for many after having a child. The first 9 months or so of that first kid fucking break your spirit and body, but after that he'll be used to it. Obviously there's a lot you need to talk to him about regardless. If he makes it clear he doesn't really want to accept his responsibility and refuses therapy, it might be time to look at moving on. It's not about him at this point. It's about giving your child the best life possible. Best of luck to Go and your baby girl. If he didn't want children, you shouldn't have had a child. Sad face. Another girl overstepping in my relationship. My 22F boyfriend, 23M, has just met this girl in his new workplace. At first I was excited to hear that he had made friends so quickly. She is now asking him to have food, TG and drinks, outside of work, just the two of them. Mind you, she knows that he is in a relationship. They have gone out a few times and I can't lit it bothers me and I've told him about it. He is super nice about it, but I don't want him to lose a friend. I met her once and she didn't seem very friendly to me like how my boyfriend described. I'm starting to get worried and anxious. I feel like the relationship is not respected and boundaries have been crosses. As a woman I feel sad that another woman would make me this way. Update. So we talked about it and I even showed him some of the comments on this post. Many were very helpful. He says he completely understands and if it was the other way around he would feel the same, and he said he'd probably be far more upset about it. He said he never saw of her as anything but a friend. Moving forward he offered to not speak to her, but since we talked about I feel a lot better and I'm open to joining them, and depending how that goes they can hang out by themselves. I have no problem with him hanging out girls alone, but I just got a bad vibe from her is all. I wanted to say a big thank you to all of you who helped me and who were very kind and supportive of me. It means the world to me and I'll never forget this. I hope to reply to your comments in due time. Sending my love heart. Why aren't you more mad at your boyfriend for overstepping boundaries? It's his job to keep his line straight, not his coworkers. Yeah, I don't think they should go out together like that, and I don't think your boyfriend should have been okay with that. I don't think he's being tricky or anything, I just think he's not making good decisions. Put your foot down on this one. Is this an age thing? I'm mid-30s. My hubby has solo drinks with women from work all the time. My best friend is a man I met at work. We go out to dinner just us at least once a month, frequently more. I don't know any relationship in my social circle where solo events are an issue if it's opposite sex. Seems like a lack of trust in her partner. I trust that if a drinks night ever turned into a lady or a man giving my spouse inappropriate attention, he'd just call for the tab and leave. I've never heard of a rule that solo activities had to be same gender, but I'm old, or so my daughters assure me. Maybe I just don't get it anymore. I'm sorry, but the fact that this is a really new friendship and they are going out alone together is incredibly odd, and she's absolutely trying to snake your boyfriend. If she wasn't, she would be actively trying to befriend you, plus you would be getting invited out with them. I'd be absolutely putting boundaries up. You're calmer than most girls. The vast percentage would be losing their shit. I think it's completely justified you bringing up your discomfort and maybe suggest that you guys all start hanging out together. If she gives you the cold shoulder, you will know she's in it for the wrong reasons. Best of luck, X. Sometimes hanging out with friends is fine, to be honest. If you have trust on your boyfriend, you'd know he wasn't up to anything. But I can understand how you feel, knowing that he's eating outside alone with another woman. Just straight up tell him what's bothering you and come with a solution that satisfies you both. All the best. There's something called communication. It's essential in a relationship. Voice your concerns. If he truly loves and respects you, then he'll see this through your point of view and do something about it. Sure, sounds like she is after him. Don't be afraid to talk about it. In this situation, I never get why a person is not more mad at the partner for messing up, but always at new person. He knows she is into him. If she isn't, she would be nice the same towards his girlfriend, and him and Op said she wasn't. So I thinks he likes that his ego is being stroked by this new girl. And even though I believe girls can have boyfriends and vice versa, if you are in relationship, you are the one who needs to clearly set and make boundaries. So he needs to once again say death straight that he likes her company, but she needs to understand that friends is all there ever be and nothing else. My 10 weeks pregnant wife banned me from sleeping in our bed. My wife and I are expecting. She's 10 weeks in and lately started behaving in a strange manner. She's been distancing herself from me, saying she can not my smell. I was confused because I shower every day and take care of my personal hygiene very well. She never complained about my smell before, so that was very weird thing for her to do. She explained that I don't have a bad smell. But it's something about me that could not pinpoint that gets her nauseous and makes her stomach feel weird. I honestly didn't know what her deal is. I brought this up to the doc. My wife didn't want me to, and the doc looked puzzled. Clearly, my wife is doubling up on her symptoms. It got worse when she started asking me to exit the bedroom when she enters, and now she doesn't want me sleeping in the bed and tried to ban me from sleeping in it. Days ago she stopped me from laying on the bed at 11 p.m. to get to sleep and said she washed the sheets and the pillowcases and I needed to take a pillow and a blanket and go sleep on the couch. I lost it and refused because I have back problems. She ended up calling me selfish and mean to her and our baby. I work a highly demanding job and sleeping on the couch hurts. She gets mad, saying I cannot compare myself to a pregnant woman's stress and discomfort. How should I deal with this? I watched my pregnant manager vomit into a trash can in less than a minute when someone was showing her something that happened to have a particular scent. I was sitting next to her, and I couldn't smell it. Pregnancy is weird. Pregnancy hormones mess up your sense of smell. You two need to find a compromise that allows you both to sleep, but start looking for one from a place of believing she's actually experiencing what she says she is. She's been distancing herself from me, saying she can not my smell. I was confused because I shower every day and take care of my personal hygiene very well. She never complained about my smell before, so that was very weird thing for her to do. This might help. Pregnancy can really mess with sense of smell and trigger all kinds of positive and negative things. If that's all it is. A temp solution is Vicks Vapo Rub. Put some in, under your nose or on your upper lip. Not a lot. It works. Covers up anything. Even dealing with dead things and really gross stuff. And you could try changing your own smell too. Start eating lots of garlic, onion, sage, poultry seasoning, cinnamon, liquid smoke flavor. And likely others, any one of them you prefer. They saturate you pretty quick and you start oozing that smell. When I was pregnant during the first trimester, I hated how my husband smelt. I made him shower a bunch of times. I don't like that she kicked you out of the marital bed, but the smell thing is very common. If the doctor looked confused, it's time for a new OB. Try switching up your hygiene products. She's being unreasonable but probably won't realize it until that baby comes out. Chances are her sensitivities will probably ease up around 14 weeks, as weeks 9–12 are usually the worst for HCG levels. Get a new doctor. One of the first signs of pregnancy is hyperosmia. It will pass, probably within the next 2–6 weeks. Just be patient with your wife, she's going through a lot. This is a common symptom of early pregnancy. I think y'all need a new doctor if they were genuinely confused by this. Be patient with your wife. Pregnancy is hard.